So you've got a mic, a laptop, maybe even a DAW set up, but every time you record, something just sounds bad, and you can't figure out why. Today I'm breaking down 7 common beginner mistakes that make your home recordings sound amateur, and how to fix each one so your next track sounds clean, clear, and professional. Also, if you're ready to take your own music to the next level, I've put together a totally free PDF guide that walks you through how to record and film your first music video, step by step, no fancy gear required. So grab that using the link in the description. It's free and it'll save you so much trial and error. Number 1, bad acoustic space. Most beginners overlook the room they're recording in. Even with a great mic, if you're recording in a space with hard walls and no acoustic treatment, you're going to capture a lot of reverb, echo, and background noise. So many beginners get this one wrong. They think that buying an expensive mic will make their recording sound better. They go out and spend a lot of money on an expensive mic only to discover that the recordings still sound bad. And it's because of the room. But now they spent all this money on a mic and they still didn't get the sound they wanted. So before you go out and purchase any more gear, focus on getting a good sounding room. How do you get a great sounding room? Many people get overwhelmed when they see professional studios and all the acoustic panels and diffusion, and hear professionals talking about getting the perfect balance of diffusion and absorption and dealing with specific problem frequencies. And look, there's a reason the professionals do what they do, but if you're an amateur musician who's just trying to record your own music, then you don't need the level of nuance that a pro studio will provide. You have likely heard of the 80-20 rule. It applies here. 20% of the effort in acoustic treatment will get you 80% of the way there, and that 20% doesn't need to be expensive. Mattresses, cushions, and thick blankets can transform your studio from an echo chamber into a pro-sounding studio. Don't worry about taking measurements and doing precise calculations. Just cover those reflective walls with something that will absorb those reverberations. There is really only one rule to keep in mind. Thicker is better. Don't expect thin blankets or those cheap foam panels that you see behind me to do much. Those cheap foam panels are more for looks than anything. And if you don't like the idea of dragging mattresses and pillows around, then you can do what I did and go to the hardware store and buy some 1x4s, some insulation, and some fabric, and build your own acoustic panels. These work great. Number 2, poor microphone placement. This one can be tricky because there is a balance. Too close and you get distortion and plosives. And by plosives, I mean those P's and T's. And if there's a plosive in your audio, there is no tool that will remove it. The only solution is to do a retake. Another problem with having the mic too close is that the proximity effect starts to become a problem. The proximity effect is the tendency for directional microphones to produce an exaggerated low-frequency response when placed very close to a sound source. This means that as you move the microphone closer, you will hear a boost in the bass frequencies, and this can cause a big problem. However, just moving the mic far away doesn't solve all your problems either. The further away your microphone is, the more tendency there is for it to pick up all sorts of room noise. This is because the further away a microphone is from the sound source, the more you'll have to boost the gain to get the levels high enough, and boosting the gain will also boost the level of the room noise that it picks up. The solution to this is to start about 6 to 12 inches from the mic. That is close enough that room noise shouldn't be a problem, but not so close that the proximity effect causes issues. Angle yourself so that the mic is slightly off center, so the P's and T's and B's go past the mic instead of right at it. And use a pop filter. Most extra accessories are just gimmicks, but a pop filter is something that you will never regret. Using a pop filter and singing slightly off axis at a distance of 6 to 12 inches can instantly make your vocals sound more pro. Number 3 is ignoring gain staging. One of the biggest rookie mistakes is recording too hot. If your input levels are peaking into the red, you're clipping and you can't fix that later. For example, listen to this audio. The levels are too hot and this is clipping. That sounds terrible, right? And there is no fixing it. It is ruined forever. Now, the more complex your setup is, the more potential places there are where you could introduce clipping. But if you are just simply using an audio interface, then this one has an easy fix. Just turn down your gain and carefully watch your input levels. Keep peaks around the -12 dB range. That will give you plenty of headroom for mixing later. Now, of course, you don't want to go too extreme with this and turn down your levels too far, because then you'll have to boost your gain so much in post-production, and that will introduce some unwanted noise as well. So aim at getting your peaks somewhere around the -12 decibel range. That is the sweet spot. Number 4 is over-processing. This can be both processing while you are tracking or over-processing while you are mixing. Focus on capturing a strong, natural performance. If you are a beginner, I don't recommend any effects while tracking. Record completely clean. Your mix should sound decent before you add any plugins to it. Thinking that you can just fix a bad recording in the mix is a very bad mindset. And of course, you will want to add plugins when mixing, but always be cautious, especially with those sweetener plugins like reverbs and delays. It is easy to go overboard with those. So use them, but use them with caution. Number 5, not using a click track. Unless you're doing something super freeform, not using a click track makes everything harder, especially if you're planning to layer multiple tracks or shoot a music video later and need parts to sync. And speaking of music videos, if you want a step-by-step guide on how to record and film your own music video, then check out the link in the description. But not using a click track is just a disaster. And I know if you aren't used to singing and playing with a click track, it can be difficult to do at first, but put in the effort to get it down pat. And your music teacher should have told you this, but if you are at all serious about going anywhere with your music, then you better learn to play with the metronome or click track. Perhaps there are genres that are an exception to this, I don't know, but just learn to sing with the metronome. You can set one up in your DAW, set the right tempo, and record with it. Remember, timing right now equals smoother editing later. Number 6, skipping the test recording. You get the perfect take on your new song, but when you listen back, mic hum, background noise, wrong levels, brutal. And I can't tell you how often I have done this, and there's a very simple fix. Always, and I mean always, do a 10 to 20 second test take. Listen back with headphones, and if you have studio monitors, listen back with them too before you commit. And finally, number 7, trying to fix it all in the mix. Bad mic technique, muddy room sound, sloppy performance. No plugin can fix all that. Focus on performance and technique before you record. Think of mixing as polishing, not damage control. This mindset shift, capture it right, then refine, is what makes your song feel like it was done by a pro. And remember, if you're ready to record and film your first music videos at home, I've made it all super easy with my free PDF guide. If you're serious about recording and filming your own music, then watch this video next.